Chosen one, stop right here. Yes, you. This isn't just another moment you stumbled into. This is yours. Out of everyone, out of all the noise and endless distractions, you were brought here for a reason. You may not even realize it yet, but you're already proving you're different, because not everyone is meant to hear what's about to be spoken. And yet here you are. That alone should tell you something. You're not ordinary. You're seen, chosen, and called higher. What you carry inside isn't random, it's rare. And now is the moment to lean in, because what's coming isn't just words. It's a spark meant to light up everything inside you that you thought was lost, buried, or forgotten. This is your confirmation. You were never overlooked. You were being prepared. And today, the world better watch out, because you're about to remember exactly who you are. What you're feeling right now is not ordinary, and it's no coincidence you're here in this exact moment. This message is charged, precise, and it's reaching only those who can truly perceive it. Something rare and unstoppable is unfolding around you, and nothing can prevent it once it begins. Tonight marks the shift. The invisible takes shape. The impossible starts moving toward you. This is not some distant hope. This is happening here, in your now. But hear this clearly. If your heart is unprepared, you won't even make it through what's coming. That's how potent this moment is. Take a breath, feel the gravity of it, and lean in, because you're about to step through a door only a few even see. Looking for purpose and peace? Hit subscribe and start the journey. There's a reason silence keeps calling you into hidden places. You carry brilliance meant for impact, but you've been too quick to show your hand, unveiling things before they were ready. Every time you broadcast what's still in its infancy, you open the door for it to be dismantled before it can stand. What's being crafted within you was never meant for premature applause. You're not being dismissed, you're being shielded. The universe knows you long to be witnessed, but there's wisdom in waiting. That delay is not denial, it's a safeguard. A seed isn't mocked for looking small before it becomes a tree. Guard what you carry. Wait for the right hour. Until then, your silence is not surrender. It's strategy. Not everyone gathered around you has your best in mind. Many are only present to watch you falter. You've confused spectators for allies, believing transparency would win their trust. But all it did was expose you to harm. You were never asked to entertain the crowd. Your mission was never a show. You owe nothing to those who only want a glimpse of your struggle. You're not here to impress. You're here to impact. The more you move impulsively, craving approval, the more vulnerable your path becomes. Pause and ask yourself, who are you really trying to impress? Let your unveiling be divine, not desperate. When your moment comes, it will not be fragile. No audience, no critic, no resistance will be able to diminish what's undeniable when it's finally revealed. Make your impact eternal. Join now and be a light in someone's darkness. What you sense in your spirit right now is not condemnation. It is care. You are being tapped on the shoulder, not to shame you, but to shield you. Lately, you've spoken from eagerness, which is beautiful to feel but dangerous to act on without wisdom. Excitement without preparation leaves cracks, and in those cracks, unnecessary battles slip through. Every time you broadcast your next move before it's settled, you allow jealous eyes and unready hearts to meddle with what was meant to grow untouched. The gentle restraint you feel, the pause you can't explain, is not rejection, it's a protective course correction. Often the loudest guidance you'll receive is silence. If you listen closely, you'll hear it. You're being pulled back not to diminish you, but to launch you farther. But you cannot hear the next instruction if your own noise drowns it out. There is something you need to understand. The obstacle may not have come from where you expected. You placed trust in someone you thought would carry your vision with care, but instead, they planted confusion and doubt when you were vulnerable. This didn't come from an enemy in the open. It came from someone wearing the mask of support. They are not evil, but they are not equipped to steward what you've been entrusted with. Not everyone has the strength to hold what you carry without breaking it or dropping it altogether. This isn't about suspicion, it's about discernment. You're in a season where clarity is worth more than applause. Look closely at who you've allowed into the circle. Not everyone deserves access to what's sacred. Some things are meant to be nurtured in silence until they can speak for themselves. If your heart overflows with divine love, now is the moment to let it shine. Click the super thank you button on YouTube and give $50 or more to help carry God's light to others. Your gift will bless not only your life, but countless others. You are part of His sacred plan. Your kindness may be the answer to someone's prayer. Share your blessings and honor His kingdom. May His grace guide you always. Be mindful of this. Just because the world applauds does not mean heaven approved the timing. That last thing you shared may have gotten attention, but it may also have exposed something too soon. Not everything that feels ready is ready to endure public pressure. Some things flourish only when hidden. The quiet seasons exist to protect what is delicate until it can stand unshaken. Stop treating every revelation like it needs an audience. Stop letting others peek at what hasn't fully formed. What's coming next is too significant to risk it being delayed again by putting it on display too early. Pull it back. Place it where it belongs. Let it grow beyond reach before you ever let it be seen. Underneath quiet skies, unseen shifts are taking place. Delicate adjustments, deliberate and exact. What looks like stillness is not abandonment, but craftsmanship in progress. The plan is not defective, nor are the whispered petitions ignored, but the noise of impatience clouds what this stage requires. Hidden alliances are forming, invisible pathways are being paved, and unseen obstacles are cleared, not by force, but by allowing the work to finish in its own rhythm. Silence does not signal defeat. It is the forge of resilience. Each moment spent in hushed waiting becomes a foundation of unshakable resolve. This pause is not punishment, it is preparation. Rare stones are not rushed into the world. They are cut, polished, and set at the proper moment. The urge to announce only scatters the energy needed for alignment. What is being prepared now is not ready for premature exposure, nor should it be tampered with by careless hands or opinions. As the outer world grows quiet, the inner work becomes thunderous. Beyond the surface, there is conflict that few recognize, one of unseen currents and unspoken intentions. Jealousy is not mere sentiment. It carries weight and consequence. When plans are shared with those who remain tangled in their own wounds, they transform that knowledge into obstacles rather than support. Not every gaze is benign, and not every smile wishes well. Even a casual revelation can become a breach where resistance enters. Withholding your direction is more than wise. It is a shield. Guard what ignites you. Protect what has been entrusted to you. What cannot be seen cannot be sabotaged, and the silence you choose becomes your safeguard. The weight of what is forming within you deserves reverence, not spectacle. It is not decoration for admiration, but essence meant for its appointed moment. What is being cultivated was never meant to be scattered as fragments of a preview for others' consumption. The substance of your calling is too intricate to be flaunted for fleeting applause. What carries true meaning waits until it is undeniable, until its very existence silences every doubter. Keep what grows close to the chest, where it can mature without interference. When it finally emerges, it will not beg for approval. It will simply stand as proof that it was always meant to be. Make your impact eternal. Join now and be a light in someone's darkness. Some seasons arrive wrapped in confusion, but they are actually invitations back to clarity. Trust was placed where it was never meant to grow, offered to hands too clumsy to hold it. Smiles concealed intentions, words disguised fractures, and now the aftermath feels like walking through a fog of disappointment and disillusion. Yet the sting of betrayal is not a signal of abandonment. It is a quiet beckoning to solitude, where only a deeper voice waits to rebuild what was scattered. This moment is not a sentence, it is a turning point. Dependence on others clouded what was meant to be an unbroken connection to the source. What felt like rejection is a realignment of the foundation. The betrayal was permitted only to shield the core design, to close the doors that would have collapsed under pressure. Not everyone is meant to stay when something sacred begins to take shape, and some exits are nothing more than protection dressed as pain. Growth often begins away from applause, behind closed doors where no eyes intrude. The craving for visibility can sometimes mask the need for transformation. In haste to be acknowledged, the very work meant to prepare the heart is overlooked. Longing for a stage before readiness risks distorting what was intended to unfold. Hiding is not weakness, it is wisdom. What has not matured enough to endure the weight of scrutiny must remain concealed, shaped beyond the reach of premature light. When the time comes, what was formed quietly will speak for itself louder than any introduction. Quiet instincts often whisper what is dismissed as doubt, that restlessness around certain faces, the heaviness after certain conversations. It is not imagined. Not every presence deserves access. Familiarity can blur discernment, and bonds based on comfort rather than purpose can drain the very strength they pretend to support. This chapter calls for deliberate distance. Choosing to release what only depletes is not cruelty, it is preservation. Few are assigned to protect what is precious. Many are drawn only to consume it. Letting go of what no longer aligns clears the way for those who truly guard what matters. If your heart overflows with divine love, now is the moment to let it shine. Click the super thank you button on YouTube and give $50 or more to help carry God's light to others. Your gift will bless not only your life, but countless others. You are part of His sacred plan. Your kindness may be the answer to someone's prayer. Share your blessings and honor His kingdom. May His grace guide you always. Sometimes, conflict is not an attack from elsewhere, but the result of speaking too soon. Words shared without timing open pathways for resistance that was avoidable. Every vision carries its own season, and not all revelations are meant for open air before they are fully anchored. Even the strongest plans falter when exposed too early. Silence until the right moment is a shield, and restraint is its own kind of strategy. What is meant to flourish will do so at its appointed time, and premature declaration only invites storms it was not built to withstand. Let the lessons learned here temper the next step, ensuring that what is spoken is not just true, but ready. What feels like delay is actually a masterpiece unfolding at its proper pace. The highest purposes do not erupt out of haste or disorder, but arrive in the quiet rhythm of a plan far wiser than your instincts. Not every bright idea belongs in the present. If it is forced too soon, it becomes heavier than it was meant to be. When patience feels unbearable, remember it is a shield placed around what is still too precious to risk. The silence you endure now is not the absence of progress, but the sound of everything falling into its right place. When the moment is fully formed, all waiting will reveal itself as necessary, and every pause will speak with clarity that could not have come earlier. Strength matures where no eyes can see it. Depth is not born under the glare of attention, but in the quiet soil of persistence. Where you are now is not a place of endings, but of beginnings hidden from view. What is forming does not yet bear fruit, because its roots are still stretching deeper, reaching the strength required to endure. Forcing it into light before it is ready risks undoing what was meant to sustain. Let it remain in silence, away from chatter and judgment, while its essence ripens beyond the reach of destruction. What finally emerges will not need to compete or explain itself. It will simply stand unshakable, carrying the mark of a process untouched by premature eyes. Some of the most extraordinary moments unfold away from applause. Transformations of real weight do not need an audience to validate them. What you are called to does not demand popularity or recognition. It asks only for trust and steady hands. The temptation to display every step before it is complete can erode the sacredness of what is unfolding. What is being orchestrated behind closed doors is more intricate than you imagine, and when it surfaces, it will require no defense. Keep your focus low, your heart attentive, and your words measured. The proof will not be in your announcements, but in the undeniable reality that no one can claim credit for but the one who authored it. What you feel pressing against you is not evidence of failure, but of significance. Resistance rises against what threatens the darkness, and the intensity you sense is a reflection of what you carry. There is no punishment in this weight, only acknowledgement that you are stepping into something larger. The pressure you feel now is a training ground disguised as struggle. What looks like chaos is actually preparation, forcing you to strengthen places you didn't know were weak, to sharpen resolve, and to learn how to endure. In that intensity, you discover a resilience that cannot be borrowed, only forged. These battles are not a sign of defeat, but confirmation of worth. And once you see that the fire is shaping you rather than consuming you, gratitude will replace fear, and the struggle itself will become part of your testimony. What seems invisible now is not absence, but intention. There is a reason brilliance feels buried, because it has been deliberately wrapped in quietness, shielded by simplicity. The greatness inside has been tucked beneath layers no one bothers to notice, and that is exactly the plan. Strength is being shaped without the need for recognition. Resilience is being refined where applause cannot reach. The exterior may blend into the crowd, but the essence underneath has nothing in common with them. Underestimation is part of the process. Let happen. No arguments are needed. No explanations required. The moment the veil lifts, outcomes will speak louder than any defense. Some weapons remain hidden until the battle demands their edge. This silence is not surrender. It is preparation disguised as stillness. Something unexpected is forming in secret, and when it emerges, it will shift everything it touches. What feels like rejection was actually a rescue dressed as disappointment. The door that stayed locked, the connection that unraveled, the path that abruptly vanished. None of it was random. What looked like opportunity was a trap wearing the mask of favor, and it was removed before it could consume what was meant for the future. Though the loss stung, what could not be seen then was the damage that was waiting on the other side. Protection does not always arrive wrapped in clarity. Sometimes it comes as a firm no, a hard stop, an exit you did not choose. The places denied to you were never meant to sustain you. They would have drained the very thing you were carrying. One day, gratitude will replace confusion, and you will see how those barriers were blessings in disguise. Every detour was part of the map. When the right threshold opens, it will confirm what was true all along. You were never abandoned, only preserved. What feels like abandonment is actually the clearing of a sacred space. There's a reason connections have faded, calls have gone silent, and familiar faces have drifted away. It's not punishment but preparation. This solitude is not a verdict. It's a workshop where the unseen hands reshape what cannot yet be displayed. When everything around you grows quiet, it becomes easier to hear what truly matters, free from the clutter of outside expectations. The empty room you sense now is not a void but a canvas being prepared. If those people had remained, they would have pressed their own patterns into you, steering the design off course. The quiet you resist is actually making room for clarity to settle. Stay still long enough to let it finish its work. Let strength take root where no distractions can reach. This silence has an expiration date, and when it ends, you will walk back into the crowd no longer searching for approval, but carrying unshakable certainty. No explanation is required for obedience to what you know is right. Others may question, criticize, or fail to grasp it entirely, but their understanding was never necessary. A vision entrusted to you alone does not lose its weight just because others cannot see it. Some instructions are so pure they wither under unnecessary discussion. The task ahead asks not for explanations, but for action, even if no one stands beside you. History is full of those who acted without applause, who took steps that seemed irrational but were deeply aligned. Every meaningful leap is born not from consensus, but from a quiet, unwavering agreement between your heart and what you were called to. When the time comes to move, move. Let the results tell the story that words cannot. What you're experiencing now is not stagnation. It's precision being crafted in silence. There's a reason you feel tucked away, unseen, and pressed into stillness, because true strength is assembled away from the noise. The moments that broke you, the betrayals that stung, and the disappointments you swallowed have all been shaping something exact and unstoppable within you. You're being sculpted into someone who moves with intention, stripped of distraction, honed for the kind of impact that can't be achieved halfway. This hiding place isn't a retreat, it's momentum gathering. Being pulled down is not regression but alignment, ensuring when you move forward, you carry both weight and clarity. The waiting has not been about denial, but about proving what was being built could withstand what it was meant to carry. Some opportunities looked perfect, but were too fragile to hold your future. What you thought was delay was really reinforcement. Every pause ensuring what comes next won't collapse under your purpose. Make your impact eternal. Join now and be a light in someone's darkness. The subtle discomfort you keep feeling is not your imagination. It is a warning whispered to protect you. That shift in the air when certain people enter, That quiet unease when you consider certain paths, that unshakable tension in your chest. These are not random. They are signposts, not to be ignored but to be honored. You've been dismissing this sense as doubt or overthinking when it is actually clarity in disguise. Those feelings are safeguards, alerting you to unseen misalignments and hidden traps. The next chapter will demand discernment that cuts like a blade, able to distinguish what merely appears good from what is truly right. Listen to that pull. Let it guide you away from what does not belong, even if it's comfortable. Not every open door deserves to be walked through. Not every smiling face is meant to stay. The wisdom to step back when necessary is the very thing keeping your path clear. You've been pressing yourself into spaces that were never meant to hold you, bending just to be seen, explaining pieces of yourself no one was meant to grasp. There's a reason you don't fit where you've been trying to belong, because your path was always meant to stand apart. The way you're wired does not come from imitation or performance, but from something cultivated in quiet surrender. That distinctiveness isn't a flaw to cover, but a force to carry. Dimming yourself just to be palatable strips away the power planted in you. You were chosen to stand out, pulled away from what's easy, drawn into unfamiliar territory, and called to walk by a voice only you can hear. That strange sense of not belonging in certain rooms is confirmation you were never meant to linger there. Misunderstood? That's fine. Misread? Let it be. You don't need their comprehension when you carry an assignment bigger than their opinion. Boldness is not arrogance. Your uniqueness was always a signal of what you were born to accomplish. There are bruises you've been hiding, inflicted not just by hardship, but by hands you trusted, words you believed, and dreams that fell through. That heaviness you've worn like protection was never meant to stay. The pain doesn't disqualify you. It reveals where restoration begins. Left unhealed, your hurt will only spill onto those who had nothing to do with it. But surrendered, it turns into a story worth telling, one that lifts others out of what you survived. Scars don't mean defeat. They prove you've endured what was meant to destroy you. Let the memories you've buried be touched, the pieces you've locked away be seen. What once broke you can be transformed into evidence of what's possible. Those wounds are not a liability but an invitation, a sign that resurrection doesn't just happen in fairy tales. There's a power waiting to flow through what you've tried to hide. Let it finish its work. Someone else's breakthrough is hiding inside your story. You've measured the minutes and stared at the calendar, wondering why nothing seems to move, why others seem to advance while you're still here waiting. But the timing you're anxious for was never yours to control. Every detail is being set with more precision than you can imagine. The delay you feel is not neglect, it's protection. Some parts of your future are still being secured in silence, shielded from premature chaos. If it came to you right now, it wouldn't last because you wouldn't yet be ready to carry it well. That no you keep hearing is not rejection. It's proof you're loved enough to be prepared. What you're asking for is rare, and rare takes time. When it finally appears, it will arrive without confusion or compromise. Don't resent the stillness, honor it. Something extraordinary is being shaped beneath the surface, something that will last far beyond what you see today. The world may rush, but what's being written for you is timeless. There are pieces of your life you quietly buried, ambitions you let fade, connections you stopped hoping for, callings you convinced yourself had expired. You decided it was over and taught yourself to live without them. But hear this, they are not beyond reach. The same power that birthed them the first time is fully capable of restoring them again, and in ways you cannot imagine. This is not about resuscitating what was. It's about transforming it into something even stronger. What you left behind as broken and final was only hidden for a season of renewal. Even now, what you thought was finished is stirring under the surface, waiting for your faith to awaken and make room for it again. The silence wasn't the end, it was preparation. You'll see what seemed discarded return, not in its old form, but refined and resilient, ready to exceed what you once dreamed. Get ready to stand back up, because what you thought had no future is already being rewritten. There are moments when breakthrough isn't earned by effort or strategy, but unlocked by a simple, unshaken yes. What's ahead of you doesn't depend on striving or chasing. It depends on surrender. That next chapter is not waiting on your hustle. but on your courage to step where you're called without hesitation. Even the smallest act of trust, done without delay, can set unimaginable things in motion. Stories of transformation always trace back to a quiet but decisive choice. To step forward, even when it makes no sense. Your own leap might look ordinary, signing your name, ending what drains you, planting a seed when the ground looks empty. But it carries the weight of heaven's wind behind it. Don't underestimate what happens when you stop overthinking and simply move. The evidence of your faith is not in your waiting, but in your willingness to act. That one choice, that single surrender, might just ignite the chain reaction you've been praying for.